tall stranger in the trees. Some call him a myth, an urban legend, a campfire story born in the dark corners of the internet. They think he's just a ghost story meant to keep children from wandering too far. But I know better. I have seen him with my own eyes. I've witnessed the impossible, bone-chilling things he is capable of. I have felt the sheer, suffocating terror of his presence, and every night I pray that I will never, ever see him again. It started when I was 11 years old. We lived in a quiet, isolated town, buried deep in the heart of the country. My family, my mom, dad, and my 8-year-old sister Abigail, lived in a house where our family-owned bakery occupied the entire downstairs level. The scent of fresh bread always mingled with the damp, earthy smell of the forest that hemmed us in from every side. There were no bright city lights here, no big chains, just family shops and an endless sea of ancient trees. Abby and I used to play at a tiny rusted park right at the edge of those woods. It was a simple life, or so I thought. One afternoon, while I was struggling with a pile of math homework, Abby burst into my room, her face flushed with a strange excitement. "Sarah? I met someone new in the park. You have to come meet him." I didn't even look up from my books. I told her I couldn't, not until my room was clean and my work was done. "He won't be there all day," she pleaded. I just waved her off, thinking this friend was just another kid or perhaps an imaginary playmate. For the next few days, she kept asking, kept begging, but I was always too busy. If I had known what was waiting in those shadows, I would have locked the door and never let her out again. Saturday finally arrived. I was free. We went to the park, and as we played on the seesaw, a younger boy from town ran up to us. "Abby, the tall stranger is back. Let's go." My heart sank as we followed the group of children into the tree line. The deeper we went, the colder the air became. Then we saw him. He wasn't a tree. He was a man, if you could call him that. Nearly 9 feet tall, wearing a black business suit that fit his skeletal frame perfectly. His arms were freakishly long, dangling like limp vines. I tried to focus on his face, but it was just a blank, chalk-white void. My ears began to ring, a high-pitched whine that made my head throb. The children were mesmerized. They reached out to touch his bony, pale hands as if they were drawn by an invisible thread. Then, I saw the horror. Multiple black, tentacle-like limbs erupted from his back, coiling through the air like snakes. The ringing became a scream in my brain. I grabbed Abby's hand and ran, dragging her through the thorns and branches until we hit the park. She sobbed, angry that I ruined the game. I told my mother, but she just smiled and said it was probably just a neighbor we didn't recognize. The next day, 3 children went missing, the same siblings we saw in the woods. Panic gripped the town, but the children still felt the pull. Soon, Abby started changing. She would stand by her bed at 3 a.m., staring at the wall, silent and motionless. She stopped eating. She began drawing obsessively, messy circles with a large X through them. "Seize me," the papers whispered. Her hands moved across the page with a speed that wasn't human. One night I heard her floorboards creak. I followed her into the woods, barefoot and shivering. She was stronger than she looked, ignoring my every attempt to stop her. In a moonlit clearing, he was waiting. The ringing in my ears was so loud my nose started to bleed. A tentacle wrapped around Abby's throat, lifting her effortlessly. She went limp, and when she stood back up, she wasn't my sister anymore. Her eyes were sunken pits, and she was crying thick, dark blood. I saw the shadows of the other missing children standing in the trees, their souls stolen and sealed away. Then she faded into a silhouette and vanished into the dark. I moved away. I went to college, but he never left me. I see him in the city streets under the flickering streetlights. I feel him watching me while I sleep. People ask me if Slender Man is real, if he eats children, or if he's just a myth. I know the truth. He doesn't eat them. He takes their essence, their very souls, and traps them in a place where no light can reach. And when they ask me if I've ever heard of him, I look them in the eyes and I lie. I say no,